What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's a good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here, and as you guys know, I'm a big fan of walking away from this draft class with some kind of developmental quarterback option, and that's just me. I love the way certain franchises like the Packers and the Patriots have been able to bring these guys in, develop them up a little bit, build up some hype, trade them off for assets, and that's for franchises that have had answers. With the Jets, we don't have one, whether it's at a starter or as a backup spot. So I think you take the dart throw and you hope that you can accomplish one of the two. Find a starter late, or you develop a guy into a backup quarterback option. But in either scenario, I feel like you're getting a huge value, especially the later down the draft board you go. And since we're talking about day 3 options here, the ideal scenario would be to pull off a 49ers type situation, right? Highly unlikely, but still, for Aaron Glenn buying into his staff, being able to develop some guys up, that would be the dream scenario. Now, I wanted to bring you guys 2 prospects that I feel like you probably wouldn't have come across, or I haven't seen a ton of details around, because the Jets have secretly been keeping tabs on day 3 quarterback options. And I mean, realistically, outside of Jalen Milroe, there hasn't been a ton of quarterback names actually connected to the Jets, and probably rightfully so, with the hype around Justin Fields, I suppose, starting to build up a little bit, and being comfortable with Tyrod Taylor as a competitive option as a starter and a more than competent backup quarterback. So with that said, let's dive into the first of these 2 prospects, and this is a name that I think you guys will be more familiar with just because I've seen a few more articles come out. It's North Dakota State's Cam Miller, who has broken many records from a former NDSU quarterback in Carson Wentz after being able to stay there for a number of years. But we actually spent a top 30 visit on him, and if you've taken a look at the list and just kind of did the skim through it, you'll notice that there are a lot of day 3 options in general, and it seems like the Jets want to make sure that they can hit on some of these guys that they hope end up being staple pieces, and keep back a role players, maybe developing some of these guys into starters. But obviously, you want to cherish the additional picks that you have, I believe, in the 5th and 6th rounds for us. But nonetheless, Cam Miller's a 2-time FCS champ. Also is a MVFC Offensive Player of the Year. Had a really strong pro day. Ended up having a perfect day for himself from a statistical standpoint. 49 passes went into the air, 49 passes went into the hands of their receivers, and that was on the heels of also having a fairly impressive East-West Shrine Bowl where he went 10 of 17 for 99 yards and ended up leading 2 scoring drives. And really the book on him is that he's been able to progress each and every year that he's been within this system. And NDSU is one of the few schools that are going to be able to run some level of a pro type scheme for quarterbacks. So you love that he's going to come in a little bit more polished at being able to go through progressions, a little bit more polished when it comes to being able to determine how he needs to attack defenses, being able to look safeties off, being able to go from huddle plays to working and operating under center, out of shotgun. There's a number of different things that he can do, but a lot of what you'll see highlighted is the fact that he's able to go out there and make full field reads. So this is a guy that from day one, you feel like you can kind of throw a lot on his plate, and he'll look comfortable enough being able to pull it off. And as he gets more of the reps, you'll start to see more of a divide between him and guys that just really haven't gotten a lot of these similar type of reps in college. He's a riser for a reason based on everything he's been able to put up so far between the bowl game, between those practices, between his pro day, and then guys bringing him in for top 30 visits, where it hasn't just been us either. The Broncos or another team, for example, and I think the Bucks may have also had their eyes on him as well. But From a statistical standpoint, looks really, really good. One of the things you'll love from a number standpoint is he put up 22 touchdowns before he even threw his first pick. Was hovering around 70 for a completion percentage, just under 4,000 yards or so in his final season here. So I love the developmental path. One of the biggest knocks is going to be size, right? He's coming in at just barely 6 foot, 6'1", and about 200 pounds. But I've seen some comments from his former quarterback coach for North Dakota, where he was mentioning one of the impressive things about him is the fact that he's a master when it comes to accuracy. Not only does he make sure that the ball can only be put where the wide receiver is able to make a play on it or just the weapon in general, but he puts it on the numbers, right? One of the things that I just happened to have been hearing on the fly was Shannon Sharp talking about playing with some of his former quarterbacks. And he mentioned that it was, I can't recall who the quarterback was off the top of my head, but mentioning that if he put it on the numbers, that means there was daylight ahead of him. He'd be able to go and do his thing after the catch. If he put it behind him, it meant that there was, danger in front of him, brace for impact. And if he put it, ahead of him, it meant that nobody was behind him. It should have been a home run type play. And once he switched teams or a new quarterback came in, that same sentiment wasn't there, right? So kind of spoiled by excellent QB play. I would think Cam Miller will walk in as a very underrated prospect on any NFL team where really a lot of professional development is severely lacking. So these minor programs where the biggest question marks are really level of competition and if he can play up to that as opposed to just huge deficiencies all over the board, it'd be worth taking a chance on him. The second name is Jordan McCloud out of Texas State. Now, there was a report that was out there that mentioned there was actually multiple scouts from the New York Jets at his pro day, and as a result, I don't know if that part was true or not, but it has been confirmed that the Jets also met with him after his pro day, where it looked like he put on a pretty solid enough show, was able to show what also makes him a rising option on day 3 for guys to look at. And just as with Cam Miller, there's a number of teams starting to pick up on him as well and are bringing him in for visits and trying to get some final workouts in with him. He was the Sun Belt Player of the Year. He is coming in at 25 years old, so a bit of an older guy in terms of quarterback years, as still fairly young. But he brings a quick release, some NFL bloodlines. He is actually the younger brother of Falcons wide receiver Ray McCloud. So bloodlines always tends to come into play ever so slightly there. But similar to Cam Miller, pretty similar build, 6 foot, about 205-ish pounds. And it's going to be a lot of the same situation. He actually ended up transferring between schools for a little bit more. So the upside with him is that he's been exposed to a few different offensive schemes, but hasn't really been able to sit and nurture maybe the talent in the same way that Cam Miller has. But I think there's a reason why so many teams are starting to bring him in and take a second, third look at Jordan McCloud. If I had to pick of the two, it would probably be Cam Miller, but that's just because Jordan McCloud is a little bit less consistent in my opinion, but he's definitely more of the exciting player, right? I think he brings a little bit more of the playmaker moxie, whereas Cam Miller is just going to make all of the plays that should be made there and then will wow you every once in a blue moon. So still plenty of things, if we were to dive into a full breakdown, that both prospects could work on. But these are guys that I wouldn't be surprised if they get picked up in round 6 or 7 after not being ranked in like the top 670 players in most cases overall. So let me know what you guys think. Again, as normal, any details, etc. that you guys have, feel free to drop them. Otherwise, just let me know what you guys think based on what was shared, and appreciate the support as always. I'll catch you guys again. Peace.